So welcome. This is Cece with Going Solo, and it's great to have you guys back. I have with me Joan Fradella, and she is a divorce mediation in Palm Beach County, Florida. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cece. I'm happy to be here.
Great having you. There's so much information out there with regards to divorce, how to get divorced, what to do, what not to do. And I really wanted to have you on the show because I think what you do is really a specialty. Some states do require mediation. And so it's really kind of nice to be able to try to see if you can work out something. But the thing is a lot of individuals are very scared of it because as they're going through divorce, they tend to be quite frightened of all the different aspects, especially when it starts coming to legal. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this type of field.
I am an accountant by trade, and I've also done government contract negotiation. And when I was doing some forensic accounting, supporting some attorneys for divorces, I really got to see how expensive it could be for a family to be paying for the forensic accounting as well as the attorney. So some couples are just going to have to do it that way, but not every couple has to. But the problem in Florida and probably many other states is that people don't realize that they do have this option of going to a mediator without attorneys. Some people are afraid and feel that they need to have that attorney fighting for them. But realistically, even though marriage is a contract, it's not a business contract. So since you do love each other or did love each other, you should be able to sit down with one neutral third party to work out the differences. It's a matter of splitting assets, liabilities, and setting up for the children's well-being.
Absolutely. Now, I think it is great to be able to have this type of venue. But let me ask you a couple of questions because there are some myths with regards to mediation. And one individual had asked me about it, and they said, does mediation allow one spouse to dominate another spouse?
Absolutely. In fact, if a couple were to come to a mediator and it's immediately apparent that there is an extreme imbalance in the relationship, and one is trying to take over the entire meeting, it's the job of the mediator at that point to stand up and say, I'm calling an end to this. This is not mediation. You will have to go and get attorneys.
And one lady had asked me, is there a disadvantage for a woman to go through mediation?
No, there absolutely is not. Like I said before, mediation is for the couple. That's who my client would be, as well as kind of the family, because what you're trying to do with mediation and making these decisions in splitting assets, liabilities, and care for the children, you are really looking to maintain relationship. You are going to have to co-parent going forward, so you really kind of have to have a good way to communicate with each other. You cannot just expect children to be a go-between. You cannot co-parent only by texting each other. You have absolutely got to be able to have conversations and realize that it's important for the children. It's not about you.
Let's talk about some of the really great aspects of mediation, because I personally like mediation. I feel mediation is a very good tool for the parties to be able to try to work things out, to really save themselves some money. Often we worry when we're going through the divorce, we're going through the court proceedings, we worry that our costs are going to get crazy. Things are going to be totally spinning out of control. And wouldn't you say that mediation really kind of helps you kind of redefine and home in on some of the cost savings?
Yes, it really does, because usually with mediation, you have several meetings lasting a few hours. I limit it to 2 to 3 hours per session because it can be emotionally exhausted for the couple as they're going through all of the discussions. I know some mediators will just go for all day, and people just start to get that they just can't even face it anymore. So I arrange several meetings, and that's how we work it. We get through certain sections of it first, and then next meeting go on to the next. But you can still get it done within a short amount of time. And there's no running back and forth to court, getting statements from the court regarding, okay, she's not allowed to do this, he's not allowed to do that. Also, what is said in mediation is confidential. That means not only the mediator cannot go and discuss it, the wife cannot go discuss it, the husband cannot go discuss it. You keep it in the room. So, and you don't have any extra filings at the courthouse along the way. That saves money right there. The meter only bills for the time in the meeting plus time for working out all of the financials and setting up all the documents to be brought to court.
So it's really a nice venue to be able to actually kind of dissect the issues that you have with regards to divorce, because so often you have personal items that you're trying to be able to determine who gets what. You have assets that you're dividing. You have children that you're trying to work out a parental agreement with. There's so many different facets, especially if you have a long-term marriage and you have acquired some wealth, you have children, different issues that you want to be able to discuss. It's nice to be able to do those in different segments, because so often as we go through divorce, we're on this emotional roller coaster ride, and we can only really handle so much at a time. So we're not so overloaded. So I think it's a great thing to be able to break it down into different segments, say, okay, we're going to talk about this particular segment. Because we have to face, as we're going through divorce, that we are going to get divorced. And so we can't keep taking and stabbing the other person and trying to be able to get one up on, because you waste a great deal of time, a great deal of money, and so much emotion. You invest so much emotion in the divorce. So if you can kind of break it down, get someone to help you on the emotional side to get through it, and then have a mediator that's professional that can break it down into different segments to help you through it. I just think it's a wonderful thing that you do, Joan.
Thank you. We think so too. And like you were saying about having the different people do different jobs, it is true that sometimes a couple has tried marital therapy. And some of them really go in there wanting to work at things. Some of them find that really what they have is a simple communication issue and they're able to fix it. And some of them are kind of going there to just kind of get that last bit of permission that it's okay to go through with a divorce. And then after they are done working with me, a lot of times they will go individually to speak with a therapist for a short time, to just clean up whatever last issues are still kind of hanging on. And it's actually a very good and mature thing to do. It helps them face all of the issues with the children a lot better than walking out of court after a lot of screaming and crying. So I really like being a part of that whole process.
Another thing I was thinking about too is that when you go to court, it's pretty much an open book what you do in court. It's part of public record, all your filings and all of those kind of things. Mediation can be very private, which really is very important to a lot of couples because they don't want all of this stuff aired out into public. They don't want it there. In today's world with the internet and things that you can get, to have something written and put into writing, having it filed for years and years and years in some sort of dark, dungy court record come up. It is, you never know what your future holds. And so you don't necessarily want all that information there.
True.
Mediation can be very confidential and very private, can't it?
Yes, it is. And like they keep warning us, once things are out there, they're out there forever. It's much better to have it confidential. Rather than, can you imagine your children's friends, as they're a little bit older, finding stuff out there and saying, hey, did you know that your dad or your mom did or said? Kids don't need that. And it's not that the couple should be ashamed of anything that had to be accomplished in getting the divorce, but really, it doesn't need to be out there.
Absolutely. It is a form of a way of protecting your children from divorce. And studies have shown that repeatedly children are spared. They're spared from much stress and fear and anxiety throughout the divorce. They really do much better with redefining their lives and restructuring their lives. So I think mediation is a nice way to be able to get some of those things accomplished that needs to be done in a less stressful way, because you're not taking that back home and the kids you're able to get them. I think, to me, the first thing, if you can get the parental agreement worked out, that really is your structure of your family unit. And this is what people do not get sometimes, is when they're divorcing. The husband and wife is divorcing, but the family unit never divorces. We're always a family unit, and often we create this horrible division in this family, and it really shouldn't be, because the family can easily still be united if we can deal with it in a very mature, adult fashion as parents. We can still help our children to be able to understand that, hey, maybe we can't live together, but we can respect each other in regards to parental decisions, and we're going to do what's best for you. And not really, it can really help the children be able to adjust, because, our children really look at us to be able to know what the path is going to be. And if we're going to be bickering and carrying on throughout, continued lifetime, they're going to bring that into their world. Mediation is really a tremendous tool for individuals that they should take advantage of.
I agree with you. I think so important. And like I said, for some couples, they will need to go to court. But hopefully, if they first go to a mediator, learn a little bit of stuff, figure out, okay, where are our real problems? What can we settle now? And what will we need some more help on? Some major thing could be there. And, okay, fine, go get your own attorneys to settle that one thing. Well, then that one thing does not throw into it, just snowball down a hill. And so at least that's the only thing that's kind of out there and less confidential. But still, if the family can just keep their discussions with their children as far as, okay, listen, we love you so much, suddenly realize we don't love each other so much, so we can't live in the same house, but you now have two houses that you will live in, and it's okay.
Well, okay, so let's take it back from the beginning. You're in Palm Beach County, and there's an individual that is in somewhere else. How is it structured for mediation, mediators? Do they go per county? Do they go per state? How does that work?
Well, the certification is for the state. So I'm certified in Florida. If I move anywhere else to any other county in Florida, I'm good. If I move to another state, I have to do whatever requirements there are for being certified there. So what we do is we mostly serve Palm Beach County. There have been times where someone that lives just over the border into Broward County have come to us, because sometimes they've gone to a marital counselor who offers them a few names, and they say, well, if we're only going to see them 3 or 4 times, they sound great, we'll go to them. Certification work.
What does a certification mean? Can anybody be a mediator? Can anyone do this?
Well, as of right now, you have to have either an MBA or higher, and you have to take a course. It's a 40-hour course, and then you do take continuing education credits every year to keep your certification.
Okay, so these are highly professional individuals in this type of field.
Yes, because you don't want to do anything to lose your certification.
Right. Absolutely. Now, if someone is in a different state, how would you suggest they go about finding a mediator that's good for them?
The easiest way is probably how we find just about everything these days, and go online. Just search for mediators in your immediate county.
Do you give, for instance, if you have a new client, do you talk to them on the telephone? Can they interview you to see if you're going to work for them, if they feel comfortable with you? How does that work?
If people see our website, our phone number is right there. If they're given a referral from a counselor or a therapist, they're given our phone number. And if they search for us on the web, mediators in Palm Beach County, they'll find our website. And we usually give them time to ask questions. And we have to speak with both the husband and the wife. They both have to agree that they will mediate. And then we set up an appointment and tell them what they need to bring to that appointment. In regards to finances, the children, we need to know the ages and all of that. People do not have to file for divorce before seeing us. That can be part of the package that we give them. And a completed package is kind of a lot better than doing it in piecemeal, but it really is up to the couple. And we have couples that come to us while still living together, still working together in their own business, or couples where one of them has moved out of the house. So we really see the gamut. Answer whatever questions. We also have an FAQ page, a frequently asked questions page on our website. We like for people to feel that they've been helped, even if they decide that mediation's not for them. At least they've gotten enough background information to make that decision.
Well, that's great. So then you're able to step into this meeting feeling comfortable with the person that's going to be mediating.
Yes.
The professional that's going to be handling this. So you do have the opportunity, both parties have the opportunity to say, okay, I feel comfortable with this. I think I can go forward. Now, with regards to documentation and things that they should bring with them, what is the standard stuff that you want to try to prepare in advance so that you have to be able to bring with you to the very first meeting that you do together?
They need to bring records of all the assets and liabilities, because that is what will be split between them. They need to show if anything is premarital. They need information on their marital home and any other real estate. So there will be bank statements, broker statements, any other information on assets and liabilities.
And then if you have an issue with regards to putting together a rental plan, maybe jot down before the meeting what your thoughts are on that. Because no matter what you do, it's still going to be a bit of an emotional thing.
Times that people call and we can tell that their emotions are very, very high. So we'll talk with them, discuss whether or not they really should see a therapist first, because if they come in and they're really not going to agree to mediate, there's no point. They really have to be able to say, yes, this marriage is irretrievably broken, and I'm agreeing to look for a mediated solution.
Absolutely. I really do love the aspect of mediation. When I was going through my divorce, I tell you, I hated it. I didn't see the value in it. And I had to go through this horrible divorce to later look back and say, gee, I wish I had known more of the system. I had understood the process, because I would have saved myself not only money, but just the painful, just everything that I went through. So I really do want individuals out there, if you're looking at divorce, to really look at a mediator and trying to go that route, trying to see if that's going to work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least you gave it a whirl. I know in Florida, they do require a mediation, so you will have to go to something like that. I don't know other states if they require that or not, but you do have to go to a court-appointed mediator, or you could actually, I believe you could pick your own, can't you?
You can, yes. When the court orders you to go, not only do they order you to go to a mediator, they order you to go to parenting classes. They want to know is that no matter how, the whole issue with where the kids are going to live, who's going to have what hours, they really want you to go to a class, because co-parenting does have challenges that parenting in one home does not have. And people really need to see the difference, not be shocked when they find out later.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. So you want to check out your state as to what the requirement is. Yeah, the thing is, the more educated we can get on what we're going to be going through, the path that we're going to be going down, if we can know what's ahead of us, it's easy for us to be able to prepare ourselves. Not that we want to strike the other party, we want to get a leg up. That's not what we're here about on Going Solar. What we are trying to do is educate ourselves so that we can try to eliminate the pain that we have to go through and try to be able to come to some sort of agreement to where we're going to be able to move our lives through and live in just a more harmonious way, especially when it comes to children. It's just so vital for our kids that we help them through this transition state that we're going through, and our families. So it's a great thing you do. Now, tell me, if you were going to give anyone any advice about mediation, if they've never heard about it before and they're just hearing about it today, is there anything that you'd want to share with them?
What I would say, are you speaking of people who are looking for a divorce or just curious about mediation or have a friend that may be looking for divorce?
Anything, whatever you feel like you'd like to share with them.
Usually I just tell people that it is an option. It can be a much more affordable and amicable option. And really learning about it, getting a little educated on it doesn't take that much time as far as seeing whether you think it will work for you. And I tell them that really, even if it sounds a little strange to you because you've always thought that there's only one way to get a divorce, it is worth at least speaking with me and going to my website and seeing what you learn. It's worth just giving it a try.
Now let's talk a little bit about the process. When they're inside your office, are both husband and wife together staring at you? You're in the middle of them and then you guys are kind of hashing out everything?
What I do is I use a round table because a round table has no sides. So we sit at the round table, I take all the papers that they've brought, and we start having discussions. And I don't happen to like to have the computer on the table. I'll take handwritten notes because I don't like the distraction of them having to stare at the back of a laptop. I like us all to be able to look each other in the eyes because we're having a discussion, not only talking numbers. I have to hear both sides. They have to feel that they can give that information. And round table actually promotes more open discussions about the children and how they feel it should go. So it's more how this should go rather than I want, or the bad part of she, and he. It's, less finger pointing. It's much more harmonious.
Now, what about if there is a lot of friction going on? Do you separate them? When I had my mediation, he was in one room and I was in another, and the mediator went back and forth. Does that work? I mean, how is that?
That does happen sometimes where you end up having to go and split them up and talk separately. And when the parties tell you something and say, I don't want you to share that, sometimes it's just a matter of that they need to say something and they just don't feel like they can say it with them in the room. It's not a secret. They're just afraid of how the reaction's going to be.
Let's go on to agreements. Now, let's say we've gotten together and we've kind of hashed out a lot of things, this and that, and we want to put together some sort of agreement. Is it possible for you to actually be preparing this agreement for us, for the parties that are there doing the mediation?
What happens is once we've gotten through what we're going to get through that day, and I've got all of their information financial-wise and a few ideas of what they want to do for the children, in between that and the next meeting, I start to make up drafts of what it's going to look like. And then the next meeting, that's one of the things we do, is that both parties look at what I put together, and then there's discussion on where they each feel things should be changed. Because in the state of Florida, the split has to be equitable, which does not mean necessarily perfectly equal. So each person has said, well, I want us to keep the children in the house if at all possible. Once we've run all of the other numbers, we can see whether or not it is possible or whether that house is just going to have to be sold and split. sometimes you can agree that one will remain in the home, and then at a later point, such as when the youngest child is 18, the house will be sold then and then split equally. So the mediation can be not just for what's today, but also for the future, considering the best for the family.
The agreements that are prepared, once they've gone back and forth and they've looked at them again, and whether they've possibly had their attorney look at them, or I guess they could still have an attorney review documents if they wanted to, right?
If they want to. It isn't necessary.
Right.
But if that's what they feel they want to do, they're certainly free to do it. It's their right.
Right. So it's their choice if that's what they would like to do. So once you've come up with something and you're happy with it, let's say the parties are very happy with everything that's written down, then what do they do? Do they execute it then in front of a witness? And
yeah, once I've put together the entire package that has to go to court, they both agree that everything is set up correctly, they both sign it and they take it to court. Well, actually, they go to court, file it, and then get their final court date, which could be the only time they end up having to go to court, which is great. And on that final date, the judge looks it over, and I don't want to say it's a matter of rubber stamp, but as long as the agreement has been done well, it's a simple matter. It's just procedural, and they are granted the divorce.
So it seems like the process can be as smooth as you want it to be. As smooth as the parties would like it to be, it can be.
Yes.
So that is amazing in divorce, because we always think divorce is like, oh, it's like the horrible, horrible thing. And it is, it is. It's a breaking up of two people, and sometimes the division of families, and it can be very heart-wrenching and something that we're trying. I know you are with the work that you do, and I know with me, the work that I do, we're trying to make it so that we can keep the emotional level something that's manageable, and that we can move through it, and we can get to the other side and start redefining and recreating a new life for ourselves. So I think it's a great thing that you do. So tell us how we can get in touch with you if we're in the Florida area, in the Palm Beach County area, if they would like to contact you and do some mediation, or they heard you here on Going Solo, they can give you an email or something and let you know. So how do they contact you?
Okay, they can go to the website. That's www.divorcethroughmediation.com. And through is THRU. Or they can call the phone number that's on the website, www.divorce-mediation.com.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Well, I thank you for having me. I've actually very much enjoyed it. I always enjoy educating people about mediation.
If anybody has any questions, they're welcome to either, give me, CC Schatz, an email, and you can reach me at ccgoingsolo@gmail.com, or you can contact me right there on the Facebook, which is our Going Solo group page. If you haven't joined it, please do. You're welcome to join us, Going Solo with CC, and you can ask any questions that you want, and of course you can contact Joan, and if you have any questions that you want to direct to her, I'm sure she'd be happy to help you as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Again, I want to thank Joan Fradella, a mediator with Palm Beach County, Florida. You can reach her at www.divorcethroughmediation. That's DIVORCETHRUMEDIATION. Divorce Through Mediation. Also, her telephone number is 561-968-6005. 561-968-6005. So we hope that you guys listen to this today and you'll take with us what you need to take. If mediation is something that you'd like to entertain, we hope that you will check it out to see if it's something that might work for you, make things a little bit easier. So I hope that you were able to gain some more information that'll make your lives a little bit easier. So this is Cece with Going Solo. Can't wait to talk to you again. Talk to you soon.
I hope you continue living your best life. Bye for now.